It's Nolan. Y'all must have forgot I'm on my Roy Jones. Flow terminally ill, talking full blown. The Ghost Rider, I wrote the script to your tombstone. Kill your favorite rappers in tandems, call it a group home. I've been keeping it discreet, but this shit ain't sweet. Once I hit my motor, start to reach. Niggas shit they breach. I got songs in like 200 shows, but I gotta leave. Pull a nigga name up on the sheet and it's Bon Appetit. Fucking with the wrong one, I hope you got a strong gun. They verse I'm going on them, they call me the Shogun. Pull a beat, 15 minutes, bet I get this song done. I can't trust a rap nigga that's stepping with his toes done. Fuck him out, shout the Lord done it all. I'm Barry Sanders, I'm juking niggas from the coin toss. I'ma run the ball, that's 6 points. I get the money off the ripple when my pinpoints. Pinpoint precision, envision me on my rich boy. These on the bit, trigger finger if it's itchy, I might squeeze on the flip. Bullets coming with a name, let you bleed on the tip. Put a nigga in the box, then I'm fleeing on the trip. I'm too king for me to slip. I want Parmesan, I Parmesan. I walk in the alarms on, I'm barking like a dog, and now your bones are what I'm chomping on. Sundown, bitch, I'm back to bending like it's Ramadan. Yo, 15 minutes was broad, it's like a calling card. No mean to ramble, this shit is like a free sample. I'm here to make an example, these appetizers ain't ample enough. Fire like a candle, I'm up, right from the panel I jump. Back in this shit, entertaining y'all on my channel, I'm the main event. Learn to use my voice so I could pay the rent. Nigga talking shit behind the phone that they ain't pay to get. Drop and give me 50, nigga, I get on my trainer shit. I don't do no freestyles, homie, I get paid to spit. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everyone is doing well today. Y'all know what we here for, but before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to all the insiders that have come over to the Patreon. I greatly appreciate y'all. Y'all know I like to give my shout out, so just gonna give y'all acknowledgement and love and respect that y'all deserve. Then we're going to get into the talk around Drake and his two lawsuits. There was one, now there's two. Good God. So we're just going to go down the list, all right? Big shout out to Ashley. Shout out to Solo in a Crowd, B-Hop, Sunday Shift, Adrian, Sierra, JL, Tron 2020, Jay, spelled J-A-I, Rashawn, Aisha, J. Coley, Faith Lewis. Well, let me just say Faith, sorry. Aries Girl 7719. Shout out to D. Shout out to Jazz, spelled J-A-Z. Elizabeth. Lynn Laugh, Tufos Sim. And JD. Okay, so far, those are our members over on Patreon. We just launched last night, and we are in the game. There's already a couple videos over there for y'all. My reaction to, damn, my stomach grumbling. Ain't that about a bitch? I'm hungry for this information. We got Squabble Up, initial music video reaction of me testing out the software and making sure everything is Gucci over there, because I was on Twitch at the time, reacting to the video, trying to see if Twitch was going to knock me off and stuff like that. So I gave y'all a testing video of me reacting to Squabble Up, but also testing my software. And then we also have my GNX thoughts after the album is now out. It's been out for 5 days. Listening to the album, pointing out things that stand out to me, etc. If you want to check that out, you can join patreon.com/Real J Nolan. Okay, I'm gonna put it up on the screen for y'all real quick. Matter of fact, it'll be in the pinned comment as well. So there you have it, and I'll put it in the chat also. All right, fuck with your boy. Now let's get to the real meat and potatoes of why we're here. Now, last night we did go over the initial filing that Drake put in the state of New York, suing Universal Music Group and Spotify. He felt like they were doing underhanded tactics to drive Not Like Us to the top of the charts and make it have a much bigger presence than the music that he was dropping in the midst of the battle. I don't really understand why this matters, to be honest, but I do have my hands on the official filing, because yesterday I was just reading off a Billboard. But the official filing is available. I want to run through it and acknowledge the points that Drake is making in that lawsuit to try to understand Drake and his team. are trying to make. And then we're going to get to his second lawsuit, which is against UMG and iHeart Radio, allegedly for defamation and payola. Okay. So let me pull up Drake's lawsuit against, well, just let's say motion, because it's not officially a lawsuit. It has been filed, but he's basically trying to intimidate them, saying, I'm willing to move forth if y'all don't entertain my claims. Okay. So here we have it. Let me put myself in the corner and we'll run through it. And hopefully at a certain point, we can kind of get the gist of it and move forward. Okay? So, New York, Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of New York, in the matter of the application of Frozen Moments, LLC, that is Drake's company, right? Petitioner for an order pursuant to Section 3102C of the Civil Practice Law and Rules to compel pre-action disclosure from UMG Records, Inc. and Spotify, Inc. This is a verified petition. Nature of the dispute. Okay. In his memo to staff reflecting on highlights of 2021, going back in time, the CEO of UMG, Lucian Grange, remarked on it being harder than ever for artists to break through the noise. 60,000 songs are added to Spotify every day. So as you can see from the jump, he's naming Lucian Grange, even using his own words against him, as the industry has been changing for the last few years. More so, a lot of music, a lot of artists dropping music. Everybody wants to be an artist. Everybody wants to be a rapper. Everybody has access to studio equipment and stuff like that. So Lucian Grange came out and said that it's tougher to get attention. I don't understand how that plays anything into Drake, because he's one of the biggest artists walking the earth. You expect people to empathize with your tears. 2, Spotify is the world's most popular audio streaming subscription service. As of the end of the third quarter of 2024, Spotify boasted more than 640 million monthly active users and 252 million subscribers. Spotify pays music companies like UMG for the right to license songs so it can play them on its streams and subscription platforms. In 2023 alone, Spotify paid more than $9 billion in royalties to music labels and producers. Hip-hop is one of the most popular genres on Spotify, amounting to nearly a quarter of all streams on Spotify globally in 2023. So they're giving you some history, giving you the nature of, all of the users that are on Spotify and how much impact it has generally on the music industry. Spotify and UMG have a long-standing symbiotic business relationship. As one of Spotify's earliest supporters, UMG entered into a multi-year global license agreement with Spotify in 2020. UMG and Spotify collaborate on strategic marketing campaigns and products, and in 2024 announced an expansion in their strategic partnership through which Spotify will amplify music discovery and social interaction and enhance fan experiences across the platform for UMG's family of artists and songwriters. Based on UMG's financial reporting, Spotify paid UMG around $2.28 billion in 2023, which amounted to 19% of UMG's total revenues in 2023. So about 20% of the money that UMG received in the calendar year 2023, close to 20% of that comes from Spotify itself. Okay? They say streaming is essential to UMG's current bottom line and its future business strategy. In a report related to the third quarter of 2024, UMG noted a nearly 29% year-over-year decrease in downloads and other digital revenue because of the continued format shift towards streaming across the music industry. So now they're pointing out how downloads are continually going in reverse. People are not paying for the music as much as they used to because streaming has become the go-to. But that's what y'all wanted. That's why y'all went into business with Spotify to begin with. Y'all latched on. And Drake benefited the most from it. He's one of the highest streaming artists in the history of music. He thinks he's pulling a Michael Jackson. UMG's long-term strategy relies on accelerating the growth of and monetization from streaming and subscription. In October 2024, UMG unveiled a new slogan, Streaming 2.0, which illustrates the importance UMG places on saturating the streaming market. Now, what I find interesting is UMG's plan coming into 2024 didn't rely solely on Spotify. They actually went and bought Deezer. And they thought that they were going to punk Deezer into doing what they want, which they did. But Deezer does not have the usership that Spotify does to compete in the market, right? Because Lucian Grange wants to really get rid of smaller artists. He don't give a fuck about what Drake is talking about. He wants to eliminate people like myself from being a part of the marketplace. But we'll keep going. In 2024, UMG did not rely on chance or even ordinary business practices to break through the noise on Spotify and likely other music platforms. It instead launched a campaign to manipulate and saturate the streaming services and airwaves with the song Not Like Us in order to make that song go viral, including by using bots and pay-to-play agreements. UMG released Not Like Us, or the song, on May 4th, 2024, pursuant to various contractual rights. UMG, via its division Interscope Records, has exclusive control over the licensing of the song. Okay, so this is where he starts pointing the finger at UMG and Kendrick Lamar's song to say, you guys were doing unfair business practices and employing tactics to make this song oversaturated in the market compared to me, which no one cares about. Sorry. You were in a rap battle and you got out strategized, if this is even true. On information and belief, UMG charged Spotify licensing rates 30% lower than its usual licensing rate for Not Like Us in exchange for Spotify affirmatively recommending the song to users who are searching for or other unrelated songs and artists. This is an interesting part. Neither UMG nor Spotify disclosed that Spotify had received compensation of any kind in exchange for recommending the song. On information and belief, Spotify pays UMG licensing fees through the wires or mails. I want to pause for a cause real quick because in 2024, Spotify introduced some new marketing and promotion tactics that you can use within the app. And this is open for any artist out there. This is not just specifically for UMG, but for all who release music via Spotify. Let me go ahead and shift gears and show y'all this real quick. All right. In 2024, Spotify introduced this new thing called Discovery Mode. All right. Let me just show y'all. Let me scroll up. And it'll tell you what Discovery Mode campaigns are for. Discovery Mode is in a beta phase and not available to all artists. So let me retract that. It's not available to all artists, but you can receive an invitation to use it. I've used it myself. Okay. For artist team admins and editors on web, your team's admin is able to add you to the team, blah, 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 blah. Right. And these are the companies that have access to it, not to mention the major labels. Okay. So you're eligible for Discovery Mode. If it's been released on Spotify for at least 30 days, if it's been streamed at least 20 times, all this other junk, right? Whatever. Discovery Mode cost. Discovery Mode doesn't require an upfront budget. Instead, a 30% commission is applied to recording royalties generated from all streams of selected songs in Discovery Mode context. All other streams of selected songs outside of Discovery Mode context remain commission free. I think it's very interesting that Drake talked about a 30% decrease for royalty rate, right? For Not Like Us. And in 2024, around a little bit before the battle took place, Spotify introduced this new Discovery Mode, which applies a 30% royalty redirection, which means it's based on commission. So whatever amount of plays that you get from using and utilizing Discovery Mode on Spotify, they keep 30% of the royalties that you generate. That doesn't sound familiar? And what Discovery Mode does is it puts your song more prevalently throughout the app. Right? I'll get another page to show y'all specifically what Discovery Mode is all about. And we're going to touch on this briefly, not too much. But I've talked about this when they rolled it out. But, my channel was a little smaller at the time. So here's a little bit more context on discovery mode. Discovery mode helps you get your music heard in certain personalized playlists on Spotify. You can tell it's a personalized playlist because of the byline with the Spotify logo made for blank at the top of the playlist in the Spotify app or web player. Discovery mode is active in a subset of personalized playlists where listeners are more open to discovery. We refer to any personalized playlist where discovery mode is active as discovery mode context, and the context currently include Spotify radio, autoplay, Spotify mixes, which includes daily, artist, mood, decade, and genre mixes. You'll only be charged a commission on streams of your selected songs in discovery mode context during the campaign period. So you can run this campaign for an allotted amount of time, and you can run it as long as you want, as long as you're open to allowing Spotify to retain 30% of your royalties in return. Okay. So I would not be surprised if Kendrick Lamar and Interscope and his team say, yo, they got this new thing called discovery mode that they're pushing on Spotify. Would you guys be interested in utilizing discovery mode to see how it works? And Kendrick says, shit, why not? Let's try it out. Let's see if it's worth anything. Because if I don't like it, I'm probably not going to use it again. But fuck it. Same thought process I had. But since we're not here to talk about Spotify, and I really don't fuck with them that strongly, we're going to keep this thing rolling. Oh, shit. Keep this thing rolling. But I just wanted to give y'all further context about that 30% licensing fee or whatever. I think that could be a description as to what Drake is alluding to. I don't think he wants to point out that he's talking about that because it would make his case null and void, because everybody not everybody, but many artists have access to this very same campaign option, but I think he's trying to use it to his advantage. But we'll keep going to see what he's saying, what they're saying specifically. They say UMG directly or through Interscope also conspired with and paid currently unknown parties to use bots to artificially inflate the spread of Not Like Us and deceive consumers into believing the song was more popular than it was in reality. We'll keep going. Bots are software programs designed to mimic human behavior to appear to be real social media accounts. One individual unknown to Petitioner revealed publicly on a popular podcast that Mr. Kendrick Lamar Duckworth's label, i.e. Interscope, paid him via third parties to use bots to achieve 30 million streams on Spotify in the first days of the release of Not Like Us, with the goal of jumpstarting the song's spread and turn into a crazy hit on the platform. The whistleblower described Spotify as the easiest platform to bot because it does not, like other streaming platforms, have certain security measures when it comes to bot protection. The whistleblower further revealed that on May 6, 2024, an individual affiliated with Interscope sent him a payment of $2,500 via the digital payments platform Zelle, which is owned by a number of banks, and that he was promised another $2,500 and a percentage of the song's total sales for this initial push. Now, let's be honest here. If we're talking about the likes of Kendrick Lamar, Drake, or any of the mainstream artists that are commissioned under Interscope, Universal Music, and their subsidiaries, what the fuck is $2,500? What is $2,500 supposed to do for them? Oh, yeah, we need 30 million plays. Why would 30 million plays be significant to an artist who already gets this type of love? The music went viral immediately. Everybody was clued in. Nigga, are you stupid? You got plays off Family Matters the same way he did. Kendrick just dropped a better record. And if they did use discovery mode to push it even further, and you could have too. There's no way that y'all didn't have access to this discovery mode on Spotify. Anyway, on information and belief, UMG hired other unknown third parties to use bots to promote Not Like Us and also to inflate the streams of Not Like Us music video, which UMG first published on July 4th, 2024. So now they're saying that he also inflated the music video. Craziness. UMG appears to have used similar tactics with other streaming services. On information and belief, UMG paid or approved payments with other streaming services. On information and belief, UMG paid or approved payments to Apple Inc. to have its voice-activated digital assistant Siri purposely misdirect users to not like us. So now they're throwing Apple into the lawsuit and alleging that Apple is taking some sort of underhanded payments to favor Kendrick Lamar. But the same company, Apple, is the very company that paid Drake, what was the deal? 19 million or something like that to have access to views for 2 weeks exclusively before it went on any other platform. This is the same company you're now throwing under the bus. But they paid you $19 million so that they could have exclusive access to your album. But you want to talk about preferential treatment. Online sources reported that when users asked Siri to play the album Certified Lover Boy by recording artist Aubrey Drake Graham, DBA Drake, Siri instead played Not Like Us, which contains the lyric Certified Pedophile, an allegation against Drake. Now, what I don't like here is he fulfilled this whole Certified Lover Boy by recording artist Aubrey Drake Graham. Y'all saw the stuff go viral. All people were doing was saying, play Certified Lover Boy. They weren't saying, play Certified Lover Boy by Drake. Just 2 words. Siri, play Certified Lover Boy. And because of the lyric recognition technology that they have in Siri, which allows people to say any lyric from a song and it will divert to it, he's saying that Apple took money to specifically program Certified Lover Boy to pull up Not Like Us. Boy, you're down bad. UMG engaged in similar pay-to-play schemes to increase the airplay of Not Like Us on the radio. Petitioner has obtained information from a third party indicating that at least one UMG employee made payments to an independent radio promoter serving as an intermediary for who had agreed to transfer those payments to certain radio stations and or radio station employees. Now, I want to be very clear about this. Independent radio promoters exist. If you're an artist independent, there's companies that could get your music on college radio. They could get your music on international radio. They could get you on local radio, GPB, shit like that, anything. There's also independent radio promoters that could get you on bigger programs. That could get you on the iHeart portfolio. That's what independent radio promo. Y'all seen, we're the audience not dumb. You know how many artists independently have come out and said, hey man, you want to go big in the music industry independently, you're going to need to pay at least $250,000 for radio. You got to pay somebody who's going to deliver the music to it. And that person then has to filter out that money for promotional purposes because this is what the industry created. The industry created, hey, we're a radio station. You pay us ad space, we play your record, right? Because the advertising is we're advertising your music. That's been around from the jump. Please understand, the music industry as we know it, it's been talked about multiple times by many people, was introduced primarily through the mob. So yes, all of the underhanded promotions and all of this stuff, Drake benefited from all of this shit. Now he wants to try to flip the script because he lost. I want y'all to be very clear about the person we dealing with right here. And I'm not even against the nigga. If he would have put out something sound against Universal that didn't have to do with Kendrick Lamar, I would have been all for it. But the fact that you're using an artist, a rival, an artist that whooped your ass, and you're basically saying based on the success of him whooping my ass, I'm taking some sort of loss or I feel that I've been slighted. I can't relate to you on that. I'm sorry. Everybody take an ass whooping. That's like saying the Boston Celtics shouldn't have won a championship because they have a better coaching staff. So hire your coaching staff. Get your strategy together. Anyway, what I cannot prove, and if they and I, the burden of proof is on Drake to show the radio station employees who received those payments. Because if you can produce that, we might have a different conversation. He says, these radio stations subsequently played and or caused to be played, Not Like Us, without disclosing that they had been paid to do so. This practice, known as payola, is prohibited by the Communications Act of 1934 and has been the subject of regulatory scrutiny by a number of executive agencies. Now tell me, how many radio stations y'all really think are willing to put their corporation on the line on behalf of Kendrick Lamar or any one particular artist? In 2006, UMG agreed to pay $12 million in a settlement with the New York Attorney General following an investigation involving accusations that UMG executives had used a broad array of pay-for-play tactics to secure radio airplay for music. In connection with UMG's settlement, the then New York Attorney General Eliot Spitzer explained consumers have a right to not be misled about the way in which the music they hear on the radio is selected. He continued to say that pay-for-play makes a mockery of claims that only the best or most popular music is broadcast. Separately, in 2005, UMG was sued by 2 radio promotion companies alleging fraudulent pay-to-play practices. He's going back 20 years damn near to make his case. But this is the company you signed to. This is the company that put you at the forefront of hip-hop. This is the company and the other company, Spotify, that has you as the face of every motherfucking playlist on the platform, even in genres that you don't create music within. But now it's about pay for play. Okay. While historically payola has been thought of in terms of paying radio stations to play songs, in February 2020, the FTC released guidance stating that by paying an influencer to pretend that their endorsement or review is untainted by a financial relationship, this is illegal payola. On information and belief, UMG employed a similar scheme by paying social media influencers to promote and endorse the song and video. For example, petitioner understands that UMG paid the popular NFR podcast. NFR podcast, I just ripped y'all a new one the other day, which has nearly 300,000 subscribers on YouTube and over 330 followers on X, to promote Not Like Us and its video without disclosing the payment. Now, again, you will have to produce proof that shows that they paid them. As part of its deal with UMG, the NFR podcast published podcast episodes, tweets, and other content publicly about the song. And in a sea change for UMG's internal policy, UMG removed the song's copyright restrictions on YouTube and Twitch, thereby whitelisting the song for the first time in UMG history, which further incentivized influencers to spread the song. Boy, this is crazy. So with the YouTubers and Twitch users that were able to react to Not Like Us, and I believe a lot of those same reactors were able to react to Family Matters as well, if I'm not mistaken. Not to mention the original version of Push-Ups leaked online with no affiliation to a label. It was open season for anybody to go ahead and review it. You employed academics. You provided him with songs. So what are you talking about? Academics monetizes on you all day, every day. What are we doing here? Y'all niggas are whitelisting songs directly through academics. Y'all don't give him a payment, but he don't need the payment because his audience is so big. If they tune into you, it's damn near like tuning into Funk Flex in his prime, if not bigger than that, because his audience is so vast. And he keeps all that money for himself. And he was the source for some of these records in the heart of the beef. But now you want to throw NFR podcast. I don't even really care for them. But I have to acknowledge the hypocrisy. I have to acknowledge the contradiction here, that you have a so-called, you called him a popular podcast. You didn't want to throw his name in there. We're going to get to it. But him, as your resource for pay for play, but you don't want to acknowledge the access that you give this person, and you allow him to monetize on his opinion and his playing of your music. You introduced the idea. Had he not been able to play your shit online, nobody would have been asking for access to the rest of the music produced in the battle. You're a clown. Anyway, UMG's scheme to ensure Not Like Us broke through on Spotify and elsewhere worked. Not Like Us broke Spotify records and as Interscope posted on its X account. So now they're taking screenshots. They say to date, Not Like Us has almost 900 million streams on Spotify and holds the record for the biggest single day streams of a hip hop song and the most streamed diss track in Spotify history. Of course it did. It's the biggest and the most paid attention to. Niggas was glued to their seats. I couldn't fucking leave the house because I'm like, yo, I know he finna drop something else on this nigga head. 5 o'clock came around, what the fuck happened? Not Like Us has spent 27 weeks on Spotify's City chart for New York City, which ranks the weekly streaming popularity of songs by users in New York, New York. Within a week of its initial release, Not Like Us broke the record for the most streamed song in a 7-day period with 96 million streams. After UMG published the video, Not Like Us returned to the number one spot on the Billboard Hot 100, and in the same week, the song was streamed an additional 53.8 million times and played on the radio an additional 40 million. From July 4th to August 8th, the video ranked first on YouTube's weekly top music videos chart. On November 13th, so you're mad at the public for feeling this. I wish I had the fucking sound, but I'm with the culture feeling. I'm going to skip through some of this bullshit. I'm going to be honest with y'all. UMG touted the record-breaking success. On July 16th, Interscope reposted on X that the song had become the best-selling rap song of 2024 in the U.S. Why is that so hard to believe? UMG posted on its X account that the song charting as the most streamed song of the week. On August 29, 2024, UMG posted on X with a link to a Summer Hits 2024 playlist by Spotify. So you're mad that they posted and championed the champ. UMG's schemes to artificially inflate the popularity of Not Like Us were motivated, at least in part, by the desire of executives at Interscope to maximize their own profits. You dipshit. What do you think they're supposed to do at Interscope? What is their job to do? Maximize profits. Same shit they've been doing for you, which is why they've been pulling money out your ass, and you finally got to a position of power within the last 8-9 years. Take it up with your superiors. You crazy, brother. UMG executives have an annual incentive program pursuant to which they are rewarded for meeting and surpassing sales and profits projections, among other metrics, as does every corporation. The incentives are largely based on the specific UMG division rather than the performance of UMG more generally. For example, the annual incentive or bonus of Interscope CEO John Janik is based 90% on the financial success of Interscope and only 10% on the financial success of UMG generally. This is clownery. This is clownery. So you're mad at Interscope executives for getting bonuses or something like that based on the performance of the company? Thus, on information and belief, Mr. Janik and other executives at Interscope have been incentivized to maximize the financial success of Interscope through the promotion of Not Like Us, as they supposed to with an artist signed to them. Are you dumb? And its revitalizing impact on the artist's prior recording catalog, including his first 5 studio albums, which are owned by Interscope. You are doing the exact same thing. This is foolery. It really doesn't even deserve to be read, but I'm reading it just to try to understand. The more I understand, the less I care to understand. Petitioner has received information that UMG has been taking steps in an apparent effort to conceal its schemes, including but not limited to by terminating employees associated with or perceived as having loyalty to Drake. Indeed, UMG has demonstrated that it has no interest in taking responsibility for its misconduct. Please produce the employees. Over the past several months, Drake has repeatedly sought to engage UMG in discussions to resolve the ongoing harm he has suffered as a result of UMG's actions. UMG refused to engaged in negotiations and insisted that UMG is not responsible for its own actions. What type of negotiations are we talking about, sir? Instead, UMG pointed the finger at Mr. Duckworth, insisted that Drake should initiate legal action against him rather than UMG, and even threatened to use its own legal claims against Mr. Duckworth if Drake were to pursue claims against UMG. Because clearly, UMG has no interest in being sued by Drake. So they're like, you sue us, we're going to sue him. Right? Because he's really who you're mad at. And I understand that because they're like, nigga, you're really mad at him. You're really mad that he blew up off a song calling you a certain name. And you're mad at us because we allowed it to come out. But you actually came out talking shit about people's family, putting false allegations out on wax first. But we're going to get to that because of the second motion that he filed. So I don't want to spend too much time on that because he's got more specific references to those sentiments. Let's keep going though. They say streaming and licensing is a zero-sum game. Every time a song breaks through, it means another artist does not. Nigga, are you fucking stupid? That means for every time Drake done hit the top of the charts, a J Nolan who at this current moment in time in the world raps better than Drake, I get suppressed. And that's been, maybe I should make a fucking lawsuit against UMG for every time that Drake made a hit. People showed less interest in me as an independent artist, a black man in America, just trying to make an honest living for myself and my family. Maybe I should take the Drake route. Let's keep going. UMG's choice to saturate the music market with Not Like Us comes at the expense of its other artists like Drake. As Drake is Petitioner's sole owner and Petitioner owns the copyright to Drake's entire catalog, Petitioner suffered economic harm as a result of UMG's scheme. So he's saying Drake owns all of his music at this point, which I didn't know he owned everything. I knew he was getting some of that stuff back. But he's saying, I own all my music, and because I own all my music, y'all are pulling back your resources to benefit me. Y'all, I'm not your industry darling anymore. Y'all haven't poured the same resources into me the way that y'all used to, but now I see y'all pouring those resources into Kendrick Lamar. I have a problem with that. The problem is, none of this is illegal. You know how many artists' careers have been halted or slowed down because companies poured their resources for whatever reason? Because you didn't sign this deal, because you didn't do this, because you wanted more ownership of your masters. We were willing to give you 25%. You wanted 50, you wanted 75. So we say, hey, the more ownership we give you, the less we're going to pour into your career. Artists that come and say, hey, I want to be released from my contract. And they say, no, we're not going to release you. And as a matter of fact, we're never going to release any more of your music. You're going to be on the shelf. What about those people, Drake? You don't care about them niggas. You care about yourself and your image and your loss. We'll keep going. I'm not going to read through all of this again, but I'm going to see if there's anything else relative to the conversation that is important. Frozen Moments has commenced this special proceeding pursuant to CPLR to seek pre-action discovery to allow petitioner identify appropriate defendants and frame a complaint for a claim under the Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act. The fact that RICO is associated with this is absolutely baffling. Civil RICO. Petitioner has a viable cause of action for civil RICO with predicate acts of wire fraud, mail fraud, and or bribery for UMG's payments to unknown and third parties in the form of reduced licensing fees to Spotify. However, petitioner requires additional information in order to frame his complaint and satisfy the heightened rule pleading standard applicable to complaints sounding in fraud. Petitioner has information that agents of UMG paid at least one third party to use bots to stream the song on Spotify. That's academics in his interview. And the person he interviewed came back and said, I lied. Is there anything else relevant here? Petitioner expects that much of the relevant evidence will be in the form of messages on social media platforms, payment applications, and text messages, including but not limited to iMessage and WhatsApp, which may not be preserved in the usual course. Petitioner is aware that senior executives at UMG regularly communicate for business through messaging platforms and applications. Yeah, go ahead and pull the veil back on your entire career, buddy. So that's the original filing from yesterday. Now let's get to the shit from today. The amount of secondhand embarrassment I have for Drake is through the fucking roof. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Get this bullshit off my page. Drake filed second action against UMG alleging defamation over Kendrick Lamar's false song. False song now. The same guy who was talking about people being with bodyguards like Whitney, name dropping somebody's woman, alleging that she's sleeping with the bodyguard, alleging that she's sleeping with your competitor's best friend, alleging that his child ain't his, alleging that he's putting hands on his woman. Drake has launched a second bombshell legal action against Universal Music Group over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us, accusing the music giant of defamation and claiming it could have halted the release of a song, falsely accusing him of being a sex offender. A day after filing an action in New York accusing UMG of illegally boosting Lamar's track on Spotify, Drake's company leveled similar claims in Texas court regarding radio giant iHeart Radio. The new filing, filed late Monday and made public on Tuesday, claims UMG funneled payments to iHeart as part of a pay-to-play scheme to promote the song on radio. So this is following up from what they said yesterday. They had that filing in New York. I believe this filing is in Texas against iHeart. So this is where they double down on their claims of pay-to-play happening, and now they're throwing iHeart Radio into the mix. They say, but the filing also offers key new details about Drake's grievances toward UMG, the label where he spent his entire career. In it, he says UMG knew that Kendrick's song falsely accused him of being a certified pedo and predator, but chose to release it anyway. They state UMG could have refused to release or distribute the song or required the offending material to be edited or removed. Why would they do that when nobody did that for you? Why is there a different standard for you when you throw out the allegations first? You want to go in the mud. He just jumped in with you. Ain't this the same type of shit you and Jay Prince tried to avoid? We don't want to get in the mud with pigs, because then you get dirty. Ain't that what he said? You initiated the piggy activity. Oh, Pop. What up, piggy? I ain't mad at you. Drake's lawyer is right, but UMG chose to do the opposite. UMG designed, financed, and then executed a plan to turn Not Like Us into a viral mega hit with the intent of using the spectacle of harm to Drake and his businesses to drive consumer hysteria and, of course, massive revenues. That plan succeeded, likely beyond UMG's wildest expectations. Yeah, because they really didn't expect Kendrick to flame your ass up the way he did. Like the New York filing on Monday, the new petition isn't quite a lawsuit. Instead, it's so-called pre-action filing aimed taking depositions from key figures at UMG and iHeart in order to obtain more information that might support Drake's accusations in a future lawsuit. In seeking that information, Drake's lawyers say they already have enough evidence to pursue a claim for defamation against UMG, but that they might also tack on claims of civil fraud and racketeering based on what they discover from the depositions. I'm sorry, Drake, you got to retire. I think Drake wants to retire. I think Universal does not want to allow him to retire from music based on money that he may owe or money that they invested in him and a certain amount of release commitments that he still has on paper. I think he wants to walk away. He's finna do this little rinky dink ass, and I don't mean rinky dink as in touring in Australia is not dope. I've never toured in Australia, so salute to that. You've got fans over there. They're gonna show up. They're gonna come have a great time. Salute, more power to you. But you're about to go do this little tour in Australia that you really don't want to do. You don't want to get out of bed and go do this shit. You tired of fucking touring, bro. You've been out here busting your ass too much. You've been dropping album after album, playlist after playlist. Your pen has completely run dry. I understand why you've employed writers. You know what I'm saying? But you got money. You've exceeded all the records. You've done it all. But it sounds to me like you're exhausted. Sounds to me that the image you portray is not your true sentiments. I thought you were unbothered. I thought you felt good. I thought you were happy in life. Unfazed was the word. But now you're filing defamation claims about an artist that only responded to the energy you gave him. I can't respect that. I don't think nobody in hip hop respects that. I don't think nobody in real life respects it. UMG and iHeart did not immediately return requests for comment on the new filing. Lamar is not named as a respondent in the filing and is not legally accused of any wrongdoing. Universal Music Group responded to yesterday's filings with a statement. They said the suggestion that UMG would do anything to undermine any of its artists is offensive and untrue. We employ the highest ethical practices in our marketing and promotional campaigns. No amount of contrived and absurd legal arguments in this pre-action submission can mask the fact that fans choose the music they want to hear. And if he doesn't want to retire, he wants to be independent. He's regretting that $400 million or $500 that he took, because why would y'all give me all this money and then allow this nigga to drag me everywhere but loose? Like Monday's bombshell petition, the new filing in Texas is another remarkable escalation in the high-profile beef between the two stars, which saw Drake and Lamar exchange stinging diss tracks over a period of months this year. Such beefs happen frequently in the world of hip-hop, but few thought either side would file legal actions over the insults. It also represents a deepening of the rift between Drake and UMG, where the star has spent his entire career. First through signing a deal with Lil Wayne's Young Money imprint, which he was being taken advantage of for a decade damn near, which was distributed by Republic Records. And for anybody that hasn't come on my channel before, you think I'm doing Drake hate, I have a video breaking down the original contract that he was in. They was doing him dirty. Then by signing directly to Republic, Lamar too has spent his entire career associated with UMG and is currently signed to a licensing deal with Interscope. In Tuesday's new petition, Drake essentially accused the music giant of using illegal means to unfairly prioritize one of its artists over the other. That has no legal standing. That happens that's another day at the office. He says before it approved the release of the song, UMG knew that the song itself, as well as its accompanying album art and music video, attacked the character of another one of UMG's most prominent artists, Drake, by falsely accusing him of being an offender, engaging in penal acts, harboring ex-offenders, and committing other criminal acts. All of those things have been proven to be true. Excuse me, I ain't going to call you an offender. I'm not even going to call you a pedo. But there's a lot of people out there that believe you are due to certain conversations that you've had with younger women, with teenage girls talking about boys. From your early days of being on tour, kissing 17-year-olds as a 23-year-old man. I don't know if that's exactly PDF, but it's definitely walking some lines, because people say, hey, what about the age of consent and stuff like that in certain states? All right, cool. It's still weird. But what about Baca? Why is he around? What about the other guy that was kidnapping kids allegedly? And I won't say kids, I'll say a teenager. Held him up in a home, held him for ransom, and allegedly violated this young man that you had opening up for you on tour. Right? These are the people you associate yourself with. That's the end of that. Now, I don't have access to the entire filing. I've been looking for it. I don't see it available. I don't know. Maybe if it does come to fruition, I may come back and go through the specifics of it the same way I came back to go through the specifics of the lawsuit from yesterday. Y'all let me know if y'all are interested in that, and I'll come back. But I think we've covered the gist that Drake's feelings are hurt. Drake's going through a midlife crisis. He's trying to find out what direction to go in. I think he's regretting the money that he took from Universal. They're in a renegotiation phase. But when it comes to renegotiation, are they interested in letting you go? Probably not. So I think he wants out. I think one way or another, he wants to try to force his way out, to either retire from music or to release music independently and build an entire ecosystem that caters to Drake. The problem is you had that opportunity in 2022. There was a lot of people around the industry, I remember this very clearly, that said Drake has the golden opportunity. If Drake, who's up for renegotiation, he's fulfilled his deal with Universal, if he goes out and becomes an independent artist, he would effectively be the biggest independent artist in the entire music industry. He's got too many fans to fail. Instead, he went after multiple hundreds of millions of dollars. That was his choice. And that, hey, I don't know if they gave it to him in increments. He had to reach certain benchmarks. I would think so. That's how they do it with athletes. It's over a certain amount of time. You got to meet benchmarks. You get bonuses for meeting certain things or exceeding. So they're not giving it to you all in one whop. But you had the opportunity to be scot-free. You could have done this all yourself. All this 100 gig shit that you wanted to leak, and they came in and swept in and said, no, we own that too, Jack. What you doing? Talking about you own your catalog, nigga. You license it to us. You can't do nothing outside of us. We got a contractual agreement. You own it, but we hold it. You can't do nothing without us, baby boo. Not to mention, some people say, oh, maybe that's why Kendrick and Drake were releasing their music straight to Instagram. Well, I told y'all earlier this year, Instagram and Universal Music Group are in bed. They have a direct deal helping Instagram so that more of the music that's being distributed from their artists can go on Instagram, and they'll receive a higher payout opposed to what they would have in the past. Because there was a big copyright issue on Instagram where if you played artists that were signed under the Universal Music umbrella, they knock your post down, right? Because they couldn't eat off of it. But now they're finding ways to pull money out of Instagram. So they re-upped and they did a deal this year. I said, hey, y'all gonna start seeing a lot more people releasing music on Instagram. So, again, he has his feelings hurt. Every way that he's tried to go, he's finding I'm in too deep. These motherfuckers own everything. And they allowed this nigga to come out here and destroy me, destroy my image, destroy my plans. Yeah, I still got fans, but I'm supposed to be the biggest. I'm supposed to be the champion. It's a spoiled child acting out publicly. But the fact that you filed these lawsuits and you included Kendrick Lamar in it, even the fact that you're not suing him directly, the fact that you included his name and implied anything against him via the label, you made yourself the feds. You filed a RICO. Again, he thinks he's doing some Michael Jackson Prince shit. This ain't that. You've been their darling. You've been their biggest asset, their most profitable asset. But now you lost one. And Kendrick Lamar gets to enjoy the spoils of his winnings, and you don't know how to take it. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. If you want to get those more exclusive, in-depth videos, those real-time reactions, join the Patreon. That's patreon.com/RealJNolan, right? And I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be good out there. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, one fumble. I done came too far to be humble.